everybody, I'm Steph, and today I will be talking about the GenCon preview list that is currently located on BGG, the front page. You'll see all the new GenCon titles, which are going to be releasing at GenCon and or demoing. So I am breaking this up into two videos because I have a very long list of games I've already played that I can show insight towards, and a very long list of games I would like to play. So they're into two separate videos. I'm going to start with this video. This video will feature all the games that I have already played that I can talk about a little bit more in depth than my interested in playing list. So that will be the other video coming out. So these are all the releases for GenCon 2022. I have taken off of the list the demos because while it's awesome to have demos at GenCon, there are already so many games coming out that, you know, we can play and discover right now versus games that you can demo, which are probably coming out at Essen. So I will do a Essen list when the time comes, and hopefully I can talk about those games a little bit more in depth at that time. So I know that there are a bunch of cool demos already on this GenCon list, which it would just add to the very long list that I have. So right now, today is the 18th. I just did an update today on all of the titles that have been updated as of today. I'm sure there'll be more added as the weeks go on before GenCon, because we have about 2 weeks before. So there'll be more added, I'm sure. So I'm probably going to miss some, but that's okay. I'll do what I can. So let's take a look. I actually am pulling up on BGG so we can go through it together. Let's see if it works. Yay, it worked. I love when things just work. Okay, so right now I have, the only way I really figured out how to mark these things were to have it as either must have, interested in, undecided, or not interested in, or whatever the third option is. So I've put all the games I've played as undecided, which is not really true because I've already decided that I want to play them, so I've already played them. That's the easiest way for me to figure out if I've played it. So I have 77 titles here that I've already played, found on the GenCon list. And I just have it sorted by publisher, so we can go down each publisher list and see what is there. So the first couple were actually 25th century games, Blazon and Gartenbau. They were Kickstarters, and it looks like that they are available at GenCon. I got to try them out in prototype form and demo those on the stream, so you might have seen me play already. You can check out my video of the full playthrough of both of these games. Yeah, I played in prototype form, and they're pretty solid. So Blazon is like a game where you are like drafting cards, and you're trying to upgrade your shield, your family crest, if you will, and you're trying to get combos of different patterns. So it's like a pattern building game. It's pretty light and easy. As you can see, it plays 30 to 60 minutes, just like Gartenbau, which is a set collection flower tile laying game. Both really cool and pattern building. So if you like those kinds of things, it's kind of puzzly. So Gartenbau is beautiful. And, you know, my grandmother had this most glorious garden. She would have loved this game just for the cover, for the artwork. It was very much her style. So I have a special place in my heart for that game because of just the artwork alone. And so it will be appealing to many people, especially those who love flowers. So yeah, those are pretty cool. Another couple games. Well, look, there's 3 of them. We got 3 more from 25th Century Games. They have a lot of games coming out that I've had the privilege of playing. The Green Team Wins is a big party game. It plays like 1 billion people. Okay, it says 12, but I guess you can play with more. It's like, we played with this huge table of people. It was an amazing time. It was just crazy. So what's going to happen is that there's like a question, like blank bear. What is, and then everybody writes down the blank. Okay. You could write down, you know, if you did it in chat right now, what would you say for blank bear? And then everybody will reveal once everybody completes their answer, and the most common answer is on team green. So you flip your card to the green side and you are now team green, and you're trying to get points. If you're already on team green, you get a bonus point for getting it correct. See, you said Care Bear, Yogi Bear, Black Bear. I would have said Grizzly Bear or Fozzie Bear, I think is what I said when we actually played it. And I think Michael and I were the only ones to say Fozzie Bear. It was pretty ridiculous. So we weren't on Team Green. I think Black Bear was the common answer at the time. And so, you know, there are questions like that, or it's a yes and no question. And then whoever says yes or no, whatever the most people at the table will answer is going to be on team green. And if you're on team green and get it wrong, you have to go back to team orange. So you'll not only lose out on a point, but you'll lose out on a bonus point that you could have also had. Maybe I'll try answering green every time. Green bear, gummy bear. So, I mean, the game is simple. It works great with so many people. So if you have like a huge party going on, I mean, anybody can come and go, and you just keep playing rounds of this, and it just is, it's a lot of fun. Okay. We had a great time. So if you're looking for like a really good party game, there were a lot of laughs. Seeing people's answers is always good. Okay. So moving on, we had a couple more from 25th Century Games, Prehistories and Sunny Day Sardines. Prehistories is a tile laying game. We played it on the stream actually, so you can check out that video if you're curious on the gameplay. You're playing cards from your hand. You're first basically bidding for tiles out on the board, and if you have the highest value, you'll go later, but you'll probably get a bigger tile. If you have fewer value, you'll go first, but you'll probably get a tiny tile. But maybe the tiny tile is what you want in order to complete a set on your board, or get a pattern before somebody else, because you're also racing for goals. So you're trying to do all these different things. And it's a quick little game, and you're filling up your board. I really like it. I thought it had a lot of interesting decisions, and the tension was there. For Sunny Day Sardines, it's a very quick, light card game, and it's super light. So we're talking 15 minutes or less in order to get these sardines, get sets of sardines, get more sardines, get sets of sardines. So you're trying to like fill these orders real fast, and yeah, it's cute. So then we have onto Adam's Apples Games, which is Planet Unknown, which is crazy. I feel like I've been playing this game forever, which is great, but I love that people are just discovering it right now. I got an early prototype before I even started streaming, so that was over 2 years ago. It was over 2 years ago. So I have that prototype, you know, the 3D printed Lazy Susan, and now the deluxe edition came out, and it's so beautiful, and I really love it. So it's really a beautiful game. Tile laying, advancement on tracks to get cool abilities. I mean, this game is awesome. I ended up teaching it at Dice Tower, and everybody loved it. Loved it. I taught it, and we played in 45 minutes. I mean, that's how fast. We played with 4 people in 45 minutes with the teach. I mean, it was so fast. It's just, not many games can just do that, where you can play up to 6 players and just get in and play, and you have a lot of juicy decisions. And it works because one person, the active player, will choose the position of the Lazy Susan, and everybody else will grab their tile from their seat from wherever it lands. So it's just everybody's doing their own thing at the same time, but depending on the active player and where they select their drafting of the tiles, it might affect what you're doing. So there is player interaction in that way, but generally you're working on building up your planet with different, like, terrains and stuff, cleaning up your planet, and it's great. I love the different tracks. I mean, this game is super solid, and $80 might seem like a high price for those, but inside you'll get a Lazy Susan and a perfect storage solution for all your tiles. I mean, it is, you look at pictures, look at our video, we played it recently, it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful game. Colorfly, hi! All the sardines. Wow. Yes. Retail is less if you pre-order, says Shannon. Gotcha. Yeah, you're not really going to find less at GenCon because all the publishers are selling for their MSRP price, but generally it means you're getting it, you know, you're helping out the publisher and helping them out directly. Sometimes it's the only place you can get a game first is at GenCon, but not all the time, but yeah. The next thing on my list is AEG. They have a couple games that I've played. The first one is Dog Lover. Obviously in the same vein as Cat Lady, if you've played Cat Lady. But the thing about Dog Lover is it is very similar to Cat Lady, except they change a few of the core mechanics a little bit. I mean, you're still drafting from a line of cards, but the way you can draft cards is a little different because you can have your dogs do tricks. So you might be able to do like a weird shape in order to collect cards. So it's a little bit different, and your dogs can learn like talent. They can have talents. So it's a little more in-depth than Cat Lady. So if you're into Cat Lady, if you like that game, I highly recommend Dog Lover because it gives you that little added strategy, and they totally feel like different games, even though they are very similar in many ways. So yeah, I think it is a nice little game. Okay, the next one I played was the Guild of Merchant Explorers. The only place I've played this is on TTS. There is a module that they have on there. And, you know, a lot of people have been talking about this one. So I was like, ooh, I really want to check this out. It's pretty cool. And so we've only played the basic module. And I know that there's different boards and different things that you can play with other modules. So I don't really know what unlocks as you play through them all. But the basic one, you're playing through, I think it was 4 eras, and then you're placing these cubes down from your city, and, you know, as soon as you get a new city, the next round you can start from either city, but all your cubes are going to be wiped at the end of each round, so you're basically starting fresh every round, so you got to try and build up what you can. It's really interesting. I don't know how to do well at the game because you're going to get a choice of cards throughout the game, and these cards will give you some serious benefits as you play. So you really want to get the best cards possible for your strategy. So, but you never know how the cards will turn out each turn. So you might not get the card you want at the time you need it, and then you're like, oh, why did I do that? So it's kind of a flip-in, right? In a sense that you're flipping over these cards and then you have to react to what was flipped. So yeah, it's definitely really cool. I would be looking to add this to my collection at some point because it is a nice game, and I want to see what the other maps have to offer. So it's cool. Okay, so now we're at Alley Cat Games. I played Dice Theme Park on Board Game Arena. I'm there to drink. And yeah, it was still in alpha mode. If you're familiar with Board Game Arena, then you know alpha mode is only accessed by people who have played, I don't know, whatever number of games and however many different games. So I have the alpha mode unlocked, and I'm like, ooh, Dice Theme Park, that is an awesome theme. Definitely want to play it. Yeah, so for me, there are a lot of issues with the game. It's just, it's, I don't know how to explain it, but there's so many options, and you could just get bogged down with the way that the dice are manipulated, that you AP yourself to death. Because they basically they roll down. So as soon as you move a die from one location to another, it goes from like a 5 to a 4, and then a 4 to a 3. But you're like trying to get the dice up to the top one where it has to be odd, so the other one has to get up there and be even. And so you're trying to manipulate everything, but you can't really unwind it all, because as you go through the steps, you're doing these actions for each location. And so as you're building out your park, you have more and more options to do everything you want to do. And then so for me, there's just way too much going on. I maybe it will be different in person, but even online, when it's all done for you, it's a lot, and you will be trying to analyze your board to the best capability. And there's just so much to think about, because you have all these different cards and abilities that you're trying to really use every die to the best of its ability. Therefore, it really drags on. Mortec says, like Dice Hospital might be better on BGA, so you can undo moves easier. Yes. When I played it on BGA, when I played Dice Theme Park on BGA, I didn't have the ability to undo my actions, but I anticipate by the time it is released in beta form or in regular form on Board Game Arena that they will have that undo ability, which would make the game certainly better. But that also gives you a reasoning not to play it in person, because you don't have that control. It'd be like, okay, well, let me just redo everything I just did, because I know I can make it work. So it's like, okay, what did I do? I took this token and this token and this token. So yeah, I would agree that it's probably better online, but it's hard to really know. Hello, Tech. Welcome in. Welcome in. So I would be curious if somebody plays Dice Theme Park going forward, what you think about it. Again, I just played it just the one time, so it's really hard to say. I love the idea, of course, of Dice Theme Park, because I love theme parks and I love dice, so it just makes sense that they go hand in hand. But that is just my observation of that game. I did get the chance to play Llama Dice. I guess Don't Llama Dice. I played the German edition, not the English edition, but same thing. It is Llama the dice game. If you know, Llama is like a cute little rainbow card game where you're trying to get rid of your cards. This is the same thing, but in dice form. However, I do think I like the dice game better, because you are pushing your luck. Yeah, sure, you're pushing your luck with cards as you draw them. You're like, I can get all my stuff. No, this one you're actually re-rolling dice, and hopefully you don't bust. So you're literally pushing your luck if you keep going. So for me, I like the dice luck aspect of this Llama game more than the card version of Llama. So if you like the card version of Llama, maybe you should check out this dice version of Llama. Here we have Power Failure, which, what the heck was it called before? I think it was called On Power. Now I need to look. Power Failure. I played the original back. Okay, Power On, which was released in 2018. So I played this back in 2018, called Power On. It was being picked up. I don't know if it was developed or anything changed from edition to edition, but Power Failure used to be called Power On. And you are like, what is it? It's a card game, and you're trying to make everything work. It's like engine building. So I believe it's been a minute. I liked it. Maybe I should play it again. It's one of those that, slipped by, and you play it and you forget about it, but obviously it didn't leave that big of an impression on me. So perhaps they have developed it further to be different. I don't know though. What did I write? I wrote, the added dexterity element is bizarre and interesting, simple to play, and fun to play after a game of Electropolis, which is, I still have Electropolis on my shelf for what it's worth. I think it is wise for them to release 2 games in the same universe at the same time, and they are different types of game, which is also cool. I enjoyed this one and will definitely play again if requested. That is what I wrote on the Power On comment section. So that's hopeful. It's probably worth checking out. All right, so then we're at Bezier Games. Castles of Mad King Ludwig Collector's Edition. Okay, so technically, I have not played the Collector's Edition of this game. However, I'm putting it here because I have played Castles of Mad King Ludwig, and I love it, so therefore, I want it. Though, man, that MSRP is high. It is, steep. It is steep. It's steep. So, yeah, we'll see about that. That is probably something that I would wait on and pick up in a VFM if I saw it. But I really love Castle of Mad King Ludwig, so it's a mental note for now. Let's give it a thumbs up anyway. The next one is Cat in a Box. Yeah, I really didn't like Cat in a Box. I feel like I am an odd one out with that. Like, I feel like the normal response for people has been that they like this game. I had a not a good time playing this game. So for me, I did not like it. It's too restrictive. So the idea of Cat in the Box is that all your cards are neutral colors. When you play a card, you decide what color it is. And so you're playing this card. If it's a 5, you can make it a red 5. But then if somebody else plays a 5, they can't pick red 5 because you've already selected it as a red 5. So it's one of those things where you're trying to manage the cards you're playing, but you're getting restrictive as the cards are being played. So you might get shut out. You might have a 2, but all of the 2s have been played. Therefore, you can't really play this because of they've already somehow been played. And so for me, it was a little too restrictive. It was definitely unique. So if you're looking for like a weird card game, like this could be a good option for you. But it was, for me, it just didn't work as well as I wanted it to work. So that was my opinion on it. Obviously, the cat is super cute. It's so cute. Maybe I should give it another go. It's one of those, there are other games I'd probably rather play, but maybe everybody really is liking it, just like they're really liking Scout, so maybe I should give it another play. Obviously. I don't know. I can't always be right. Oh, hey, Board and Dice. I'm actually going to be working their booth, so I suppose I might be biased, but I love Board and Dice. But seriously, Founders of Teo is super solid. It's nowhere near as wonderful as Teo is, which is like near and dear to my heart. I love, love, love Teo, so there's that. But Founders of Teo is super solid as well. It's a polyomino game. It's very, very different from like Teo, so it's just in the same, I guess, name. But there's not much else that is totally similar with regards to what's going on in the games. Yeah. So, Tech says, must visit Boarded Dice booth, noted on itinerary. Well, yeah, because their games are great. So it's definitely on the lighter side of board and dice. They tend to have heavy hitter Euro games, and Founders of Teo is a Euro game, but it is about 45 to an hour. So that's a difference. And normally their games are a few hours long. So, which brings me to my next game, Terracotta Army. Terracotta Army is amazing. It's so good. And I'm not just saying that. I was enamored with it when I first played it. I played it, I guess, on TTS, and I think that's where it was. And I've only played it the one time, but I'm sure I'll be playing it the week of GenCon. Because I'll probably be demoing it nonstop. Maybe I'll hate it by the end of GenCon. So you should tell me, you should ask me if I still like the game after GenCon and see what I say. Do I know the booth number? No, because that would be handy. Oh, no, it says location number 2535 right under the board and dice right there. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. So there's actually these little statues, and oh, it's just so cool. So this game is unique. It is unique. It is a worker placement, so it's not unique in that it's a worker placement game, but it has like this wheel on top of a wheel on top of the board. And so you're placing your guy on a board on the outer space of the outer wheel of the wheels, and then you're taking the action of all the steps of that slice of the pie, if you will. And then each turn, these things are going to move, and so the actions are going to change. And so you're going to have 3 different things, but your worker's still going to be there. So you're like, okay, and then you get your workers back, and you have to manage everything, and you're managing the clay and the dry and versus the wet clay and stuff like that. So you're managing all this and all your workers, and then you're trying to get these statues into play. So it's this is like a little bit of an abstract going on the side, because you're trying to place these statue figures into this grid of other statues, and there's different types of statues. So you're going to score differently depending on the statue type and the arrangement inside the mausoleum. So it's like, okay, you're trying to do these action work, these actions that benefit you in a way to make everything happen over on the sideboard and make everything happen for your player, because you're trying to manage the resources you have and everything like that. So it's super solid. I'm probably not giving it justice because I've played it months ago and I don't remember it all that well, but I remember the key aspects of it, and I will be playing against shortly. So very excited to do that again. So that's cool. The pre-order price is crazy good also. Oh, that's good. I don't know what the pre-order price is. Right now it just says MSRP is $70, but I don't know if there is a pre-order price from the Board and Dice. Mortec says, all the guys from Beans and Dice were at Dice Tower East and loved it. Yeah. I know, Colorfly, I wish we played it. That was like my one goal of Dice Tower, was to play Terracotta Army with Michael and Rainer and you guys if possible. But, you know, you can't play them all. The week goes so fast when you're away. So yeah. It's definitely one to look out for. This would probably be in my top 10 anticipated games of Gen Con. If I just made a top 10 list of all of the games I was most excited about for Gen Con, this would probably be up there in that top 10, because that Terracotta Army is awesome. And I know Eurogamers will like it. Play it! Some of the online retailers have it listed for $50 pre-order. It's not bad. That's not bad for a quality box with tons of little miniature statues and everything. Board and Dice has always been pretty good about pricing their games, so that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, definitely one to check out. All right, so from Board Game Tables, I don't know if Dandelions was on the list or not. I just played that last night on stream, so if you missed it, you should check out the video. But that's also not listed here, so maybe it's not. But I anticipate it will still be at Gen Con. So we played Dandelions. It's a cute little filler game. Factory Funner. Amazing. I love that they picked up Factory Funner. As, you know, I've played it, obviously, in 2016 when it first came out. It's a real-time puzzle factory building game, which is awesome. Way better than Factory Fun. I know, hashtag hot take. I know. But it is, because it's hexes. There's a lot more freedom. I did not like Factory Fun, like, at all. But Factory Funner was excellent, is excellent. And I'm not digging the new art per se, so I'm glad I have my old copy still on the shelf, but I'm just happy it is available for others to enjoy as well. If you like that stressful real-time element of placing pieces and figuring out what you want. So, yeah, I love it. Play it. Bree says, I backed both of these, just got them. Oops, not both. Dandelions and Ghost Delivers Pizza. Oh, yeah, I have the Ghost Psychedelic Pizza. I have not yet played it. You need 3 players, which I was like, oh, man. So I do not have 3 players until my Thursday group meets up, in which case I will make them all play that game. Psychedelic Pizza Deliverers. Not the best name for a game, not gonna lie. Ghosts of Christmas, which this one was weird. Okay, so the original card game, I don't think anything has changed. I guess just the name. I thought it was called something else, but maybe it never got released. Oh, Time Palatrix was the 2019 Japanese edition, Time Palatrix. They changed the name to Ghosts of Christmas to give it a theme, which I'm not sure it needed. I'm not sure card games need a theme, though I'm not saying it's wrong. I think it's neat, but by giving it a Christmas theme, you are automatically making it a holiday game. In my opinion. Yeah, sure, you can play Christmas games at any time of the year, but you're not going to think to play Ghosts of Christmas in the middle of July. It's not a game like, oh, I'm not going to go play Horrified in January. Like, I'm just not. I'm going to play it in October. Like, I get that people play games more than once in the year, but I don't really have that luxury because I play too many games, too many different games. So I automatically time it, Horrified, to be played in October, as you do. So I don't know if it's a fault of, like, theming it to a Christmas theme or not, but people are automatically going to think about it in December, and maybe not the rest of the year. Okay? So there is that, which is my first comment. The second thing is that this game is weird. It's another weird trick-taking game where you have basically 3 columns. You're basically playing 3 tricks at the same time. So I might lead a 2 yellow in the first column, and everybody else will have to lead a yellow if they can in the first column. However, maybe the next player, maybe Shrey wants to play a blue. So in the second column, he plays a blue 10. Okay, so now he's winning the second column with the blue 10, and people have to follow suit. It goes something like this. So you don't have to play to the column as people are playing to the column. You just have to play to the 3 columns by the end of the 3 tricks. And so you might trump in, or you I don't know, weird things happen as people start to, like, call their hand. And so whether or not you have a lot of control in this game, I don't know. What did I write about it? Let's see what I wrote. I wrote trick-taking weirdness. Essentially playing 3 tricks at the same time and seeing how they end up playing out. It's very interesting, and I would probably like it better if there were points to be had. Oh, right. Points, that's right. So if you had a 0 trick taken. So, okay. this was the biggest problem in the game. If you take 0 tricks, you would get 0 points. So you really need to take tricks. It would be better if you could bid 0 and lose a whole lot of points if you take 1 trick. So then you have points on the line. But if you have a really bad hand, you are just going to get 0 points. So okay, fine. Whatever. I remember that now. So I feel like that could have been an easy fix if they were going to develop the game. They could have done a different point system. But the game in general was pretty neat. I mean, I would play it again for sure, just to see if I feel the same way. Again, does it beat out other trick taking? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. Okay, moving right along. Obviously, Arc Nova. Play it, love it, like it, love it, and play it again. All that jazz. It's the best. It's so good. All right. Everybody knows everything they need to know about Arc Nova, right? Probably. Likely. All right. It's a game I wish I played more. I've probably had 6 plays at this point. Maybe more, 7? I don't know where I'm at, but it's not enough, whatever it is. So do I like Arc Nova? No, I hate it. It's awful. Flip the table. I love it. I love it. Yeah, so Colorfly, I wouldn't bank on learning it at GenCon. But you could try. I want to know if you actually get a play of it at GenCon. I'd be curious to see if you complete that mission. Would be curious. All right, now we got Island Cats, Explore, and Draw. It's great. It's really great. They implemented the big game really well into a roll and write. I love the introduction of little 1x1 kitties. I think that was desperately needed, and it worked great. I really like the display of cards. I don't really have anything to complain about this game. I really like it. It will get added to my collection at some point. I think they did a great job. The only thing that I could probably criticize is how small the boats are that you're drawing on, because it could easily get lost. Right. So yeah, you can eat. I found it hard to legibly read the map, but I'm working on it. Should turn off my Discord because it's making noise. Defoob, I saw your thing, so no worries. I saw it. You just bought Explore and Draw, but haven't tried it yet. You should try it. It's great. I totally recommend it. Which do I like more, the regular or the Draw? Well, I would say I would play either. I would honestly play either. I wouldn't say I would play one or another. Of course, Discord. Why do you make so much noise? But yeah, so yeah, I would play either. I like them both equally. Like, that's saying a lot because I really, really love the City of Games. So, all right, moving right along. Devious Weasel. Cosmic Frog. Dang. I mean, look at that cover. The artwork of Cosmic Frog is so trippy. It's like super trippy. It's trippy. And the whole game is super trippy. So if that art style attracts you to the game, play it. I liked it, and that's why I wanted to play it. The game itself is really weird. It's trippy, if you will. And it's like giant, and by giant, I mean like godly huge frogs are devouring worlds in the universe. As you would any typical theme, right? Okay. So these big frogs are like devouring terrains and planets and worlds, and you're trying to battle each other because you're giant frogs, obviously. So I'm making you reconsider going back to GenCon now, Shano? Well, I mean, I just talk about games. That's what I do. So yeah, Cosmic Frog is definitely a different style of game. It is very combat-y, so if you like ganging up on people and taking them out and devouring all their land and, you know, just the norm, you'll have a good time. I am less into the take that aspect. Like, I don't enjoy trying to corner people and like fight them. Like, I'm not really into that. So yeah, but it was worth trying, and it's definitely worth playing for those who do enjoy that type of mechanic. Okay, so with the mirroring of Mary Kay, this game, Jim had asked me randomly on Twitter to play it. This was early stages of Mary King. So I helped him. I played maybe 10 games with him over several months. And I saw the stages of this game being developed. And I think I might have helped with that a little bit. And it's really cool to see it come to life. It is a 2-player card game. And yeah, it's one person is trying to take control of the human side, and the other person is trying to take control of like the spirit side. And so there are different abilities depending on which deck you're using, and you get these like pattern cards to flip over. So there's like this core setup of cards, and I don't know, maybe 4x4 or something like that. And half of them are one way, half of them are the other way. And you're trying to flip them to try and gain control of Mary. And you're using abilities. You're using these pattern cards to flip over things in specific arrangements on the map. So you get a number of these actions per turn, and you get a number of turns. So yeah, you're trying to just battle it out. It is really... It's really interesting to see how the card interactions manage. I would definitely recommend this game, especially if you play 2-player games and you like kind of dueling. This is one of the better dueling games. I'm not usually a fan of like the tug and war of 2-player card games, like back and forth. Like, I put down 3 here, you put down 3 there. Oh, okay, no, we're tied still. I put down 4. Things like that. I don't like that kind of dueling. I like this kind of dueling because it's more puzzly. You're trying to make these cards in your hand work to your benefit to try and gain control of Mary in this case. So I think it's really cool, and it's definitely worth checking out. And if you do like the artwork that Devious Weasel does, they do have posters available at GenCon. So he'll have posters for sale. I have not played Radlands, though I've heard nothing but amazing things about Radlands, Bree. So yeah. But all right, where was I? All right, so moving on, we have Devere. the Red Cathedral Contractors expansion. Okay, so this is on my playlist, and yet I have not yet played it, but I have it, and I will play it, hopefully, by the end of this week, talk about it and play it on stream. So I actually don't have much to say about it. Because I made the list when I'm like, oh, I have this. I will play it before GenCon for sure. So I haven't played it. This video is false. Asterisk video. Okay, I haven't played it, but I will be playing it. And I'm very excited about it because Red Cathedral is amazing. It's a great game. I know the expansion is going to be great too. Liza Minnelli. Hey, I share a birthday with Liza Minnelli. Fun facts with Steph. Bet you didn't know that. Oh my goodness. Okay. Next on my list. Doomlings. I think we played this on stream, so if you would like to see a video about it, you can check out our video that we played. Super cute little, like, Doomling creatures, because the end of the world, and, you know, you got all these little cute Doomlings around. I mean, it's so cute. The game is super cute, so I actually still have it because it's in a tiny little box, and why not? It's still on my little tiny box shelf. I don't know if they changed the box. I think they did. I don't know how much bigger it got, but it didn't need to get bigger in my opinion. But it's a cute little game where you're managing your little Doomlings, and they have all sorts of powers, and you're collecting them, and, you know, you have to deal with events that are coming out. So all that jazz. Yeah, it's good. I mean, you know, it has 2 thumbs because nobody knows about it. And I think it did well, and it did okay on Kickstarter. Next up is Dragon Dawn Productions. Okay, Michael and I have talked about this one a lot on the stream because we got this in early prototype form. This is the game with like 12 resources and 42 action spaces and like, I don't know, like there's way too much going on, and we tried to give a lot of feedback regarding our play and how to like improve and develop the game further. And I'm not sure how the final product came out, but, you know, if you do end up playing this, I'm curious as to what you thought, because for us it was more of a project to play than a fun gaming experience. It was more of like work. Like, why am I spending my time playing this when I could be playing anything else? So it's one of those, is it worth the time and effort to figure out how to play this game? I don't know. I'd be curious as to what you think. There's just a lot going on. Next up is the Floodgate booth. Actually, at the Dice Tower, I taught Colorfly and Defoob how to play Decorum, and then we also played Kites. So that was a cool little night of games that we had. I really like Decorum. I think Decorum, the more I'm playing it, the more it's growing on me. The more I play it, the less I like it with 4 players. I don't mind it with 4 players. I think it runs on long because you're usually just fighting each other a lot. So for me, it's like less of a puzzle and more of a, can we just get to the next meeting, please, so we can pass on information? So for me, 4 players is only okay. But I would still play it with 4 players. I did like it with 3 players, and I certainly like it with 2 players a lot. So DeFoop says, sorry, can't be roomies. Yeah, we totally botched that game. we were several steps away from actually completing our perfect dream home to be roommates, which is really sad because I would love to be roommates with Cauliflower and DeFoop because that would be super fun. Kites. We played Kites as a cooperative 5-player experience, and it's stressful. I mean, you are playing cards in real time, one at a time, going around the table and flipping over sand timers that match your card. So if you have a red and a yellow on your card, you have to flip over the red and yellow sand timer. It's a cooperative game, and you need to keep the sand timers, going at all times. If ever one runs out, then you will lose the game. So that represents the kites flying. If they are still up in the air, there's still sand in the timer going down, then you are still flying your kite. And so your goal is to keep all the sand timers going, and they all have different values of time, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 90 seconds, things like that. And so you're just trying to manage these timers to the best of your ability so every card can be played. And once you get good at the game, hey, we won with 5 players. It was easy. We got this. It was like so good. Okay. We were like, okay, what's next? Bring it on. Okay. No, we didn't actually continue our gameplay, but there are modules included in the box to make it a more difficult experience. And so I think that is really clever, because maybe we're already so good at the game that we already need to ramp it up. I don't know how well we do next time. I mean, so it was a great late night experience. It was one of the final games of Dice Tower Con that we played, so we were all really tired, but we were on point. We kept those kites flying. So I'd say skills. We're just cool. We're just cool peeps. We can fly kites. I think it's a really cute game. Eric Martin compared it to The Mind. So I was like, I don't really think it's like The Mind, but, I'm happy it gave you that experience. It doesn't really give me that experience, though. This is a more management type of situation where you're managing your cards and managing how to manipulate the timers to your benefit. So yeah, skills. All right, next, Game Brewer. Got a couple games from Game Brewer. Rule Benders, which was delivered to Kickstarter backers, I believe, in the past several months, and Stroganoff. So, Rule Benders, I played it with 5. I didn't like it with 5. Then I played on stream with Michael as a 2-player game. I thought I would like it more with 2 players. No, still didn't like it. I wanted to like it. I just couldn't get behind it. It's a cube pushing game to gain majority on the different areas. So, yeah, the cards there's just too many card combo possibilities to just let somebody run away with a billion actions and just do a lot of different things and gain a lot of different points and do all sorts of craziness, where if you don't see those cards that allow you to get all those rewards, you're just going to be left in the dust. And that's how I felt in both of the games that I've played. And I find it hard to battle for majorities when I have to pass, and then the next player can just keep taking turns and then just take all the majorities from me. I'm like, I can't even react to it. So yeah, it just doesn't leave me feeling happy and joyful at the end of the game. So I can't really recommend Rule Benders. Now, to the opposite effect, Stroganoff is awesome. I totally love this game. This is a really solid Euro game. And yeah, it has a really interesting, like, I don't want to say time track, but you're moving along this track, and at the end of the round, you'll push back to the start of the track. So you're gonna get like several turns going up this track and visiting different locations. The further along the track that you get, the different rewards and benefits you'll get depending on the location you're in. And so you're trying to hunt the animals, or basically catch them because you're a Pokemon trainer and you're trying to catch the animals, got to catch them all. So you're gonna collect animals and use them for different set collections to gain bonuses. There's a lot of different interactions that you're doing with your actions. So you're gonna visit towns and advance your I want to say nobility or something. You're gonna advance your knowledge track. So there's a lot of different ways to go about playing this game. There's strategies to try out. I've played it now twice, I think. I played it and then I taught it in April, back to back almost. And it's definitely a game I'm on the lookout for. I really like this one. To me, the cover is terrible. I really actually like the artwork in the whole game, and I even like the artwork on this box cover. However, it doesn't really portray what you're doing in the game. This cover makes me feel like it's a war game. I was expecting to go in and have this huge area control, card management system going on, for a Euro type game. It's not that at all. I mean, it's literally not that. So this cover doesn't really portray that to me. It reads more of a Scythe box cover where you're doing all the things you might do in Scythe, but it's very different than that. So you might be surprised by how the game is played out. Once you open the box, you're like, whoa, this is totally not what I was expecting. So, which to me was a great thing. I was like, whoa, this is great. I love this. So definitely wanted to check out. Give it out a thumbs up. Really liked it. Okay. Next. Genius Games. We have Genotype. See, okay. This is where I'm like, Bree, this game came out when? Last year. I feel like it's been out for a very long time. But it's still showing up on the GenCon preview list. So maybe it never... Oh, it's the second standard edition. So it's the second edition, therefore they can have a listing for it. I'm not really sure why it's there. So that's probably why. If you missed out on the first print run, I guess they reprinted it and now you can get a copy of it. This is a dice worker placement game, so... It's a nice game. I mean, we showed it on the stream. We had a great time. I've had a great time playing it the few times I've played it, and I will continue to enjoy it. It is on my shelf, so, it's a game that I was impressed by. I like this one a lot. So if you're interested in the theme at all, or dice worker placement type games, I would definitely recommend checking that out. All right, so then we're at Gigameek. Yes. I got to try Acropolis back in April. I actually have it on my shelf, my couch shelf. So hopefully I'll get to play that on stream before GenCon for everybody to enjoy and figure out if that is a game that they would want to play. I love this game. I already know I love this game. So this is automatically going to stay in my collection. Hands down. My couch shelf, yes. So this is a tile placement game. You are first drafting a tile. These tiles are basically 3 hexes together in a triangle. So you have 3 hexes together, and you're making your grid of these tiles. And so each tile will have different colors on it, which represents different types of buildings, like a temple or a marketplace or something like that. So I'm not big on theme. I don't know theme, but I understand how the game is played. And so you're making these big groups of these different types of colors, but there's more to it. So each color is going to score a little bit differently, and you can play on top of your tiles. So you're building upward. It kind of actually reminds me a little bit of Tuluva. If you've played that, I believe it's on Board Game Arena if you haven't, but I love Tuluva. That is a great game. So it gives me that kind of that kind of feeling is that you're building up, and the higher you can build up, the more points you could possibly score for the different colors. And so it's kind of like a multiplier almost. And so I love it. It's totally my type of game. It's puzzly. You're doing your own thing on your own board. You're not doing... So that's the main difference between the two games. Tuluva is that it's a collective board with everybody on it. And then here in Acropolis, you're doing your own board. And so you're drafting tiles for your own placement. It's totally my jam. I really enjoyed this, and I look forward to playing it and showing it off for everybody on my stream. Can we see a couchie? Yeah. In between streams. In between. I'll show that it's a lot. It's a lot. All right, we got Grand Gamers Guild. They've had a lot coming out recently, but they only have one, I guess, that I've played. Aldabas, we played the prototype when it was on Kickstarter, and so we have a video for that. It is all about doors, because why don't you make a game about door handles? The door knocking. You know those big, like, fancy, like, if you're gonna go up to, like, Beauty and the Beast castle, there's, like, the big door, right? And so they got the big, like, whoo knocking on the door. Those are what the doors of Aldabas. That's what an Aldabas is, I guess. So they're door handle knocker things. And so you're making your collection of these doors, and you're collecting different colors and shapes, and you're trying to lay them out. I believe it's a 3x5 grid. It's been a minute, so I could be wrong, but it's something like that. You're laying out these cards until your grid is complete, and then you'll score based on what you've done. And there's different abilities for the different colors and actions that you're doing. So yes, it's cool. We have Gray Fox Games, Arcana Rising, simple drafting game to collect a whole bunch of different sets of colors, and every color does a different... So I love drafting games. I was totally drawn to this game. Lance was like, come play, and I was like, okay, let's play. I do love drafting. I was expecting... So Gray Fox has a lot of, like, bigger games, like hour to 2 hour long games. So I was expecting something along those lines. So when we played it in like 30 minutes, I was like, whoa, this is so fast. And then I ended up, I went along and taught some more people how to play. So we played it on TTS. Totally loved it. It's a really nice drafting game. I love drafting games in general. So when you're like, okay, when you're handed a bunch of cards, you're like, well, I don't want to hand that to them, but I don't want this for myself. So what am I going to do? I love those tough choices and the hate drafting involved in drafting games. So that you get a whole bunch of opportunities to do that here in Arcana Rising. And yeah, definitely recommended. Easy to play, especially if you can play a game like Seven Wonders. This is easier than that. So it's like, okay, it's easy to bring people in and teach because it all just makes sense. It's good. It's good. Ooh, drafting. Indeed. All right, now we're at Hatchet Board Games. In the palm of your hand. I actually played this at Dice Tower Con a couple weeks ago with Cauliflower and Defoop and Rainer and his son. So this is where you like break into teams of two and then you play. So one player is playing the grandfather or grandparent and one player is playing the child. And so what happens is the child will look at a picture. It's like a Dixit style picture, you know, you pretty much know exactly what I'm saying when you hear that. Or a Mysterium card, you know, those crazy pictures with things that's happening on them. This has a little more detail. Usually might have a person or something in it. Might be a beach scene or something. So you take a look and you find like prominent shapes, and then you're using these like weird items. Could be a top, it could be like a circular disc, it could be a cloth, you're Velcro, things like that. And so you're using these objects that you have on the table that are in the game that give you to you, and you're going to in the grandfather's hand, you will try and mimic what you're seeing on the picture with these objects. So it is, I guess it is a dexterity game because you're trying to manipulate this card or this feeling on the card with textures on the hand. And so after you do after the child does 2 of these cards, the grandfather is still closed, has his eyes closed, and every team will throw in a card that they think matches what was happening on the hand. And the card that actually will get mixed in. The 2 cards, all teams throw in the 2 cards for the 2 things, and you throw in more cards from the deck in the middle of the table. So you have a whole bunch of cards mixed together, and then the grandparent has to decide what the 2 cards are. And so you're like, oh my God, if you're the one trying to figure out what was being presented on your hand, you're like, I don't know. Ah, yes, Grandpa Rainer. So it is definitely not going to be a game for everybody. I actually found it quite enjoyable. I'm not sure everybody else found it enjoyable, but I liked this experience. I like challenges like that where you're trying to get to convey an idea to somebody without right out saying what it is. So whether it be with pictures, like in concept, whether it be with these objects that have textures on it, I like this type of game experience. So it definitely falls into a more of a party game, but I did enjoy it, and I think we had fun. I had fun. This experience was a correct statement. This experience. It was an experience. Kayla says, I did a great job. And by I, she means her. Steph, me, I did a terrible job. I'm not good at these games. But maybe that's why I like it so much, because I'm hilariously bad at it. Maybe that's why I like it. I don't know. It always makes me laugh. Stuff like this always makes me laugh. So I had a great time with it. I want others to enjoy it as well. But you have to like this kind of game. So you have to know that going in. Oh my God, Bree! Okay, send me a message. I'm sorry I didn't get to Lucky Duck Games. I'm almost there. I'm just too slow. All right. We're on to yellow. Get on board. Okay, this game is Let's Make a Bus Route. That's what it is. They changed the theme to be New York and London. But it's basically the same thing as Let's Make a Bus Route. I love Let's Make a Bus Route. So I love this game. Have fun, Bree. So yeah. If you are interested in trying Get On Board, it is on Board Game Arena. Therefore, you can play it. It's great. I'm so happy. That's where I got to play it. I think it's a fantastic game. I would like everybody to go play this game right now. It's a really great roll and write. It's super clever. All right, we are at Cosmos, or Thames and Cosmos. All right, so Catch the Moon, 2nd edition. It is Catch the Moon. I mean, it's literally been out forever. I doubt that they changed any rules. Why change something when it's great? So you're going to get all these ladders, and you're just trying to build up this ladder tower with ladders. All the ladders. It's cute. Can't go wrong. If you like dexterity games, it's cute. It's a cute game. Michael and I have played Switch and Signal on stream. So if you're interested, it's a cooperative train game where you're trying to lay tracks and alter the tracks so to manipulate where the trains are going to collect goods and deliver goods. So it's cute. I enjoy it. I've played it a few times. I would like to try the alternate map to see how it changes it up. It looks way more complicated, so I definitely want to give it a go. I really like it. I think, if you're interested in the theme of cooperative train track manipulation, you should try it. Low Tech Games, I've played Name the Thing, After Dark, Retail, Sports Ball. I've played all the packs. Basically, it's an apples to apples kind of game where somebody is the manager and you have to pitch ideas to them. So if you have a theme and be like 80s rock band, and then you find cards in your hand, you can use like 2 to 4 cards and you say like the Purple Ray group or something, whatever the words you have in your hand, and you can try and pitch it to them with those cards in that order. So, and then whoever has the best response, the manager will choose, and then that person can claim those cards as points. And so it's a type of a party game, and you can mix and match all the expansions with it. It's cute. I think, did we play it on stream? I don't remember if we played it on stream, but I do have it over there. And you do need it is better with a bunch of people, but it is still cute. I don't foresee playing it a whole lot. I don't often gravitate towards party games like this, but if you do enjoy these kind of creative word games for funny responses, you will most certainly laugh at one point or another during this game, because the responses will be ridiculous. So I can pretty much guarantee that. And yeah. Bree! Oh my god, Bree! Oh! Ugh. She's gone. I was too slow. I should have just jumped to Lucky Duck Games. Bree. No, she just left. Unfortunately. I missed out. She said she was going to message me. Did she message? Oh, she's okay. She messaged me everything she was going to say. So, I'll get to that in a second. The big old list. Okay. She hasn't left yet, but we're here. I love It's a Wonderful Kingdom. Lucky Duck Games. This is their big GenCon release. So this will be at GenCon. Super awesome 2-player version of It's a Wonderful World. There is a different type of drafting mechanic, which is awesome. It is almost an I split you choose, but not quite, because while you are making 2 sets, one set will be taken by the other player. You're not necessarily taking the other set, because they're going to make 2 sets, which the one will remain and the other one will show up. So you might not do that. So it is an I split you choose mechanic, but almost not really at the same time. It's well done. It is super well done. I like It's a Wonderful World with 2 players. I think it works just fine. I love that they decided to create It's a Wonderful Kingdom specifically for 2 players, because it really just heightens this game experience like a lot. And there's different modules in the game to really switch up how you're playing the game as well. So you're given a lot of opportunities to try different things and play with the set of cards. And it's super solid. It's really nice, especially if you love 2-player games. Gotta love it. Defoob says, It's a Wonderful World was so good. we taught Defoob and Caulifly at Dice Tower It's a Wonderful World, and they loved it. So I'm sure, that will get added to their collection at some point or another. It's high on our list to find. Yeah, definitely. They're both great games. Both have have a space on my shelf. That's how much I like both. One does not fire another. There's different occasions for both of them, and I would happily play either. So 100% be added. Nice. Hey, Dr. Stein. Bree sent me a long list of games that she wanted me to talk about because Lucky Duck Games will have a big presence at GenCon, and she only has one game listed on this list. So I just figured I should do a shout out for her. Bree says, I'm bringing all the stuff you would expect. Chronicles of Crime, the base, 1400, 1900, 2400, and Chronicles of Crime available on its own for the first time. I love all those. Definitely, if you haven't tried a Chronicles of Crime game, they are worth playing. I think they offer a new way of trying to solve the case. I'm not a good crime solver, but I enjoy the experience of trying to solve cases. She will have Destinies and expansions plus add-ons. Okay, so there's like Destinies, which is a competitive app-driven game. Normally you hear app-driven, I think of Mansions of Madness or Lord of the Rings, Journeys of Middle-earth, which are cooperative experiences driven by the app because you're unfolding the map as you go. Really well done. Now, Destinies is a similar experience, except you're playing competitively. So the information you know, Michael might not know. And so he's trying to do his own thing, and I'm trying to do my own thing. And the app is giving some information to everybody, but some information just to me. So there's a lot of like, what's going on? I need to know what everybody knows kind of situations. And you're trying to figure it all out at the same time, knowing different pieces of information. So it's very interesting. I haven't played the expansions or add-ons, but I'm sure that they are awesome. It's a Wonderful World, both expansions, and of course the new release, It's a Wonderful Kingdom. Obviously, we just talked about those. Super cool. Defoob says, I want to try Destinies. Well, yeah, you do. She says Kid Chronicles and Yummy Monster Tummy, which I played both of those on stream. I love Yummy Monster Tummy. That is a game that everybody needs to play. It's so good. Well, okay, if you're colorblind, it might be less good. But I really, really love mixing and melding colors to create new colors. I think it's like a clever game. Nothing out there like it. It is just super awesome. It's easily one of the most innovative games that I have on my shelf. It's just so... It's perfect. King of 12, Small Islands, and Court of Miracles, and Paranormal Detectives are all of they're older, I don't want to say older titles, because they're not older titles. I mean, they're like a few years old, but at this point, they're not their new releases, but they're all games that I believe I've played on stream. Super solid, really cool. Then she says Sherlock Case Connection and Pocket Detective. So I don't know if I've played Pocket Detective, actually, so I have to look at that. But Sherlock Case Connection, we just played on stream a few weeks ago, and it's a little, like, puzzly deduction type game where it's a logical puzzle, and you're trying to, like, connect the case and get points for making the case happen. And then they'll have X-Trays, which we have the little X-Trays bowls. So that's not a game, that is a product that they will be selling. So if you're looking for little, like, bowls for your biddies, they'll hook you up at the Lucky Duck Games booth. Play it, love it. We love Lucky Duck here. Bree is a regular on the channel, and I'm so pleased when she got hired by Lucky Duck Games because she is a wonderful person and she's always around. So it's really great having her around, and I always support Lucky Duck Games because they make good stuff. They know what they're doing, and so I always say this because it's an interesting tidbit, but Vince, the owner of Lucky Duck Games, or at least owners to my knowledge, he was once with a game developing company, and then when he left, he took like all the employees with them and started Lucky Duck Games, and that's why they do a lot of app driven games, because they have that background knowledge of how to build and develop apps. So if you can make a board game really creative using a digital app, why not do it? I mean, they're using their talents in both directions, and I think, it's a really nice mix. So super cool. Yeah, totally recommend Lucky Duck Games. Moving right along on my list here, we got Next Move Games. We have Azul Queen's Garden. This is the puzzliest of puzzly Azul titles there is. This is the gamer's Azul. For those who just like Azul or dabble with board games, can appreciate Azul for what it is, pattern building. Now, Azul Queen Garden is like next level. We're talking like puzzly. What do you do? How do I make this work? Why do I have to do this? Oh my God. You're doing a lot. You're trying to do a lot with very little, and it's very, very challenging game. I quite enjoyed it. So it's very different than the other Azuls. In my way, in my opinion, for the better. But a lot of people will see this as a more complicated game that is not necessarily necessary, I guess. So a lot of people probably won't gravitate towards this one. For me, I liked it more than the others. And yeah, I ended up selling my Azul because I feel like I have Stained Glass and Queen's Garden now, and I think that's basically what I need. Though I wouldn't mind owning Summer Pavilion because I would like to play that one again, actually. So, but yeah, I think they've just gotten better and better as they've been making more and more of them, honestly. So they're catering towards my likes. So maybe they read my first review of Azul and they said, we gotta make these games better for Steph. And then they've done that every time. So I really like this. I'm not sure Michael liked this one as much as I like this one, but that's okay. Moving right along. North Star Games has Paint the Roses. Okay. I'm totally biased on this one because I actually have my name in the rule book as a designer for the Alice module. So you can't take what I have to say seriously, I guess. But the reason they asked me to design a module is because I love the game so freaking much. So I guess there's that. But for Paint the Roses, I played this in prototype in 2018, April of 2018. So many, many years ago at this point. So this game has been on my shelf in prototype form since then, and I've loved it. I've seen this game come to life. The retail edition is gorgeous. I mean, this is a cooperative deduction game. I can't think of another game like it. It's awesome. Dr. Sign says, can confirm it's fun. That's great. I'm happy you enjoyed it, Dr. Sign. Defoob says, #biased. Yeah, probably. I will always choose to play this game if given the opportunity. This is, the more I play it, the more I love it. I've ended up teaching it to many, many, many groups, but, I love even introducing it to people to be like, whoa, to see the possibilities, just to open up is incredible. What I really like about this game is the negative information aspect of it, but you have to be playing with people who really can appreciate and understand that as well. Otherwise, it will be pretty much meaningless because, if you play with new players or whatever, that's fine. You're just teaching the basics. You're learning the game. You will probably lose. But if you're playing with people who have played several times, you'll start to see how people are playing and you'll gain that that insider knowledge as to why they chose that tile versus that tile to play. Okay, because there's always a choice. You have a choice as to what tile you're going to play on your turn, and that is information. So the more you can see and realize these different habits or patterns as to why people are doing what they're doing, the more you can appreciate this game. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you like deduction, this is a game you have to play. I mean, it's one of my favorite deduction games, period. I mean, it just works. Everything about this game just works. So definitely check it out. Just do it. It's like, can confirm, we lost. It is a hard game to learn at 1 a.m. on the final day of a convention. All right. I admit it was not ideal timing, but it was literally the last game we played. So it was literally the last time we could play it. I figured you'd at least get the experience anyway. You need to play it on full rest. Yes, I agree. All right, don't jump into a midnight game when you're really tired, okay? But yeah, it's fun. All right, moving along to Scout. This game has taken everybody by storm. Everybody seems to love Scout. I think Scout is pretty good. I would recommend it to people, but I don't necessarily think I would ever request playing it. Now, I request playing it to people who want to learn how to play it. Be like, oh yeah, let's play this game right now, you know? Or I feel like somebody needs to learn it. I'd be like, yeah, let's play this game right now. But for me, I would always rather play a game like Linko. That's because I love Linko so much. But Scout is a good game, and I like the way that the hands are switching back and forth, and you choose at the beginning of the round how you play your hand. But I think for now I've played the game enough where I'm like, okay, I'm fine. You know, the game doesn't wow me like it wows everybody else, but it is different. I mean, I get why people like it because it is different. So there is that. Colorfly says, yeah, I really like this one. DeFoob's like, yeah, Scout was super fun. And Dr. Cyrus, I do enjoy this one myself. So people really like this one. I think I'm on the bottom edge of where everybody ranks it. I definitely rank this like a 6, though it's not going to leave my collection because so many people like it. So it's like, normally it takes a 7.5 to stay in my collection. But because everybody really likes this game, and I'm happy to play it, I will keep it in the collection. It's a small card game. It doesn't like take up space. So it's like, honestly, I hate the look of the Link Scout edition. I much prefer the original Scout look, the Japanese look. So, but I know it's harder to get. So it's one of those situations where if you prefer the original, maybe you wait to buy it, but if you wait, you might not get the chance to buy it again. At least Oink has the edition, so you can buy it if you want to buy it. So there is that. Moving right along to the Op. Look, they got 3 games. There might be more, I forget. We got Disney's Sorcerer Arena Epic Alliance Core Set. Yeah, okay, so I am not into arena battles, like dueling to 1v1, gotta get my guy on the board, gotta get him to attack the other players. I really don't like that style game. And that's what this is generally. Now, the difference here is that you're managing your hand of cards, and there's different levels to this game. So as you play, you'll open up new scenarios and new ways to play the game. And I just played the base game, and I know that there's going to be a lot more rules and interactions and things like that open up as you play through the different games. So I do understand and appreciate that. So for me, the base game, it was fine. I mean, I liked having the hand management system where I'm controlling Ariel and Gaston, but on Ariel's turn, I can only play Ariel cards, but I might not have any Ariel cards, so it's like, okay, I'll just do the standard move and the standard attack if I can. It's not as good as actually playing a card for these abilities instead, but you do what you can. And you try and take the hit points, and it's a race to collect, I don't know, whatever it was, 15 points or something like that. So I did like mashing up. It's kind of like Smash Up almost. We played Smash Up Disney last night I played that last night on stream, and it's kind of like that because you're meshing two characters together in their decks of cards, and you're using these cards to help your characters out. And so you're going through, taking turns, and, I get Ariel's action, then Michael will play Aladdin, then I'll play Gaston, and so on and so forth. You keep going back and forth until you have the points needed. So the card mechanic was interesting. It is very simple, so there is that. It's easy to jump into a game, which I appreciate. When there's a big rule set for a battle arena game, I'm just like so not interested. So I'm more likely to play a game from the Op, which I know has likely easier rules because it's Disney themed and they want kids to play it and stuff like that. So I'm more likely to jump into a game like that than I am to some other big miniature sprawling, dudes on a map battle system game. So I can appreciate that, and I didn't hate it, and I would play it again easily, and be fine with it, but it also doesn't really excite me either. Now we have the Marvel Dice Throne set. Obviously, it's awesome. What else do you need to know? You like Dice Throne? You'll like this. I mean, what else do you need to know? Obviously, I love Doctor Strange, so I'm always going to be drawn to playing as his character. I did play it as a 4-player game, so I got to see some of the abilities of the other characters. Like Loki was playing all sorts of tricks on us, and that was pretty thematic. So yeah, it did feel thematic because I was casting spells and doing all that. So I think it would be an auto addition to the collection, because I did like it. If you like Dice Throne, which is basically Battle Yahtzee, you're going to roll some dice, push your luck, play some cards, hopefully get some abilities, take out the other person first. Caulifly says, still waiting for ours. Oh no. All right, what else? Oh, hey. We got 3 more games from the Op. Okay, the Op has tons and tons of games. Okay, fine. We have all 3 of these games, 2 of which we played last night on stream. Last week we played Mountains Out of Molehills. And so that's a drafting game where you're moving your moles around underneath and then the earth is coming up. So that's a neat little abstract game where you're drafting cards and then you have a small programming mechanic. I thought it was super cute. I really like Mountains and Molehills. It'll work great for families and such. Same goes for the next 2 games. Smash Up Disney Edition. Obviously, Smash Up has been around for a very long time. 2013, I think, is when we looked it up last night. And so most people are familiar with Smash Up, at least in some sense, either by name or by playing it. But basically in Smash Up, you're taking 2 decks of cards, smashing them together, and then you're playing a deck like a dueling type game where you're trying to take control of the locations using your cards, your characters, your actions. And it's a very simple idea. You play a character, you can play an action on your turn. And then all these things, combos, your cards, your characters will give you talents and abilities. Your actions will give you maybe additional actions or other ways to play characters or all these sorts of things to dig for cards, all sorts of abilities. And so it is a very much take that game because you're trying to take control of these areas, and there's cards that might discard other people's cards, or you might play a character modifier and another player, which will bring their value down to 0. And so all these different things are happening. So it's pretty standard. Obviously, I really like the Disney theme. So that's good. So we had fun. We had fun last night. So check out that video. And we also played a game of Ven with the chat. That was so much fun. I'm glad we invited the chat to play along. Ven is a competitive or cooperative game. I've only played it cooperatively. It is a party game where you have these 3 sections which create this Venn diagram. And one player is holding the deck of, I don't want to say Dixit-like cards because they are really not like Dixit cards, but they're the same size and they have these weird pictures on it. They're kind of like somebody went to Photoshop and just grabbed a whole bunch of weird internet pictures and put them together and kind of like spit them out like this. That's kind of what happened with these cards. And they're front and back, totally different themes. And so there are 12 words, might be like food, color, blue, road, sparkly, I don't know, whatever. Any kind of word is on these cards. And then if you're holding the deck of cards, you get 3 of those 12 words that you have to try and put into this Venn diagram. So if your word was silver and candy, maybe you find a bowl of candy, a silver bowl of candy, and you put it in between those 2. So in that section of the Venn diagram pattern, and you're trying to overlap the concepts in a way. And so if you have just a candy picture, you can just put it in the candy section. And so you're trying to clue in all 3 of your words the best you can with these pictures that you're finding, these really, really weird pictures. Missed by 1 point. Oh, I know. We did not win. We got 11 out of 12 points. And you have 5 rounds to do it. So we started off strong. And then we failed. So it went downhill real fast. But it was a lot of fun. And this Venn is definitely a keeper. I think it's a great party game. I really like how it's challenging like that. I like trying to make it work and trying to produce concepts with weird pictures. So, what? Oh, I am. Sorry, Gator Dave. Hi, Gator Dave. Welcome in. Don't talk to Defoob, I guess. Shade. Moving right along, we have Osprey Games. Crescent Moon. Okay. Crescent Moon is like, it's a big game, okay? It's not like a hard game, but it's one of those games where each person has their own rule set so that you're given this booklet and it's your rules. So not only do you have to figure out what you're doing in the game because you have your own rules, but you have your own scoring system and your own strategies that you need to find. So teaching this game could be quite a bear. We played it as a 5-player game because you need 4 to 5 players, first of all, which is generally not great for my group. So 4 to 5 players, we were all learning it. Nobody really knew strategy because we're learning it. And so we all just kind of went to town. It is an area control type game, but you're also just trying to manipulate your scoring abilities. So while you might be competing for an area, it might be for different reasons. So there's that. There's different setups that you can do. So the board is modular, which is great. And everybody will have their own power, if you will. So, one player might get free cards and another player might have like a whole bunch of different options with the cards. And one player might have free movement or trading or things like that. So it is very, very asymmetric. I definitely think there is a type of gamer who will really love this game. I liked it okay. I was one of the few who didn't mind the game. 3 out of 5 people hated the game, and 2 of us, one really liked it, and I was kind of in the middle. So I was like, okay, I get why it's cool, and I don't foresee playing it again just because I don't have that type of gaming crowd that would like this game. But it's interesting. It was interesting. I liked seeing how it played out. But yeah, I can see it's a toughie. It's a toughie type of game. The other game, that sounds kind of neat. Pick me. Moon's drool. Well, yeah, okay, so the the crescent moon, the whole box is like gilded, so it's even more beautiful in person. Like that cover right here doesn't do it justice. The actual game is quite impressive. It's actually very skinny. It's a skinnier Dominion size standard square box, but it is a skinnier one. So I was impressed with the quality production of it. So that was cool. The next one they have is Cryptid Urban Legends. Defoob, tell us what you thought about this game. Did you play it? I don't know. He said, pick me. No, I don't think you played it, but, or did you play it? I don't remember if you told me you played it or not, but yeah, it was nothing like Cryptid. I like Cryptid. Oh, pick you to play Crescent Moon. Now it makes sense. Okay, cool. So funny thing, Cryptid, if you're around tomorrow, I will be playing with Michael and Wigsby on the BGG channel. We're playing Cryptid. Michael's never played, so that should be interesting. But we tried this Urban Legends game. It's a 2-player only game. It is not a deduction game. Cryptid is a deduction game. Cryptid Legends is not a deduction game. So keep that in mind. It has nothing to do with deduction. I went into Cryptid Legend thinking, oh, it must be like Decrypted. Okay, so let's play Cryptid. It's gonna be a deduction game. It's gonna be great. 2 players. It's gonna be quick. Okay, no, it's straight up abstract. It is a straight up abstract game where you are managing your hand of cards to manipulate cubes to get into position so you win the game. All right, so I was pretty disappointed with that because I was expecting a deduction game right off the bat because of the name Cryptid. So, all right, I gave you your warning. Good luck. It wasn't for me. I love the art, obviously. Kwanchai is amazing. He does great work, but the actual gameplay just fell short for me. So, wasn't for me. Pandasaurus. Skull Canyon Ski Fest. We played this on stream, and we played Sobek on stream. So, both solid games. Now, the difference for me is I prefer Sobek. It's a 2-player set collection game. Plays out pretty quickly. Obviously, 20-minute playtime right there. It is available to play on Board Game Arena, so if you wanted to check that out there, you could. Skull Canyon, the easiest comparison would be to Ticket to Ride. If you like Ticket to Ride, this is a different type of game, but very similar in many ways. So you're collecting cards like you would in Ticket to Ride, and you're working your way up a mountain. You're using the cards to come down the different slopes, the trails, and as you go down the slopes, you will gain points, maybe awaken the Yeti. I think that there were some missed opportunities in this game to fix the mechanic of the Yeti, which I don't think really works all that well. And in the lodge, after the day is done, you're going to take actions in the lodge. And I feel like the actions in the lodge were almost like an afterthought. It's not really... I feel like it just was kind of tacked on just so people can get a few extra things. So for me, that part of the game just didn't really fit, or didn't fit well, meaning it could have been adjusted a little bit differently. So with that, I think I might have, the game was like, really, it's pretty good, but it could have been much better. that kind of thing with a few different tweaks. It's definitely worth playing and seeing if you like. I like that they did have a 2-player side to the board and a 4-player side to the board, so it basically closes off some of the mountain and balances it for that. So that worked well. So yeah, it was different, and obviously Sobek 2 players is for 2 players, and I really liked it. It's a neat, like, set collection game where you're moving this piece around the board and you're like, if I go there, then my opponent can get that piece, so I don't want to go there, so I'm going to go there instead. So there's a little bit of hate drafting involved, and I like that. Pegasus Spiel. I honestly didn't even realize that Carnegie was being produced by Pegasus Spiel, so I thought it was just Quinted Games. But I guess Pegasus is bringing that over for the US release, perhaps. I'm kind of surprised it's not like Capstone or something. But anyway, I've been talking about Carnegie for like ever and a day. Therefore, maybe people don't need to hear about it from me. But that game skyrocketed into my top 10 favorite games of all time. Carnegie. I can't recommend it enough. There's been no other release in the past several years that has been so high ranked, maybe besides Arc Nova, which is not in my top 10, but, you know, is ranked fairly high for me. I mean, The Mind is up there too, but obviously very different games. The Carnegie is a pretty big game with a lot going on, but it's perfect. I love it. 10 out of 10. Go buy it. MSRP is $70. Worth it. So good. I love it. All right, Sky Mines. The remake of Mombasa, or Mombasa in space, or Moonbasa. I don't know. Whatever people are calling it. I don't know. Alexander Pfister. Obviously, love his stuff. Always want to play his games. There's a new way to play Mombasa, which I have not yet played. It's the back side of the board, so it's a totally new... There's basically 2 games in the box. There's the old Mombasa game, which is the basic game, and then there's the back of the board, which is totally a new way to play the game. So very interested in seeing what the other game has to offer, the new game. It does change slight things with Mombasa, but mostly it's the same. There's no way that I'd ever get rid of my Mombasa because it's near and dear to my heart, and I find it more legible. Everything is a lot more clear in Mombasa. I find that Sky Mines has a lot of muted colors and a lot of design pattern work that make it a lot less legible. You can still tell what's going on, but it's just like... It just looks cluttered. I don't mind the space theme. Obviously, I want to play it for the back of the board. Also, if they didn't have the new game on the back side, it might be a game that I just wouldn't need because I would keep Mombasa. Because there's really not anything significant that changed with the basic Sky Mines. So if you're looking to just replace Mombasa with this, you could do that because there's the double-sided board and maybe you like space more, and that's fine. So yeah, it's a chance to get Mombasa if you haven't had Mombasa. It's so good. The downfall of Mombasa is that it does play better with 4 people. So I wouldn't recommend playing with 2. I wouldn't recommend playing with 3. I would say you need a solid 4-player game to have the best experience with it. Maybe there are rules that are changed for 2 or 3 players to make it slightly better, but in any case, I would save it for a 4-player game day, and you're good to go. I played Phase Shifts Games, Tavern Tales. Again, I feel like this game's been out for a very long time, but I picked it up at PAX, so maybe not. It's a hand management bluffing game to try and collect cards. It's nothing like Dungeon Drop. So if you've played Dungeon Drop and are expecting a dexterity game of cubes falling everywhere, you'll be disappointed, because this is definitely a card bluffing game. So very different. It was cute. I don't think, anybody's writing home to like, I need that game, but I wouldn't mind playing it. So there's that. On to Plaid Hat Games. This is a cooperative adventure type game where you get to be a familiar. Look at how cute these animals are. I mean, come on. They're so cute. I love them. Michael and I played on stream, and we kind of went through it. It's great. If you're familiar with Plaid Hat Games titles, they are pretty well known for their book games, where you open up a page of their book and you do the whole game on one page, and the next time it's kind of a campaign. You work to the next page and go through that whole page, and they all offer new rules and ways to score points and ways to complete the missions and do all these different things. This game is, you'll also be advancing your character, collecting new things for it's like a deck building game, so you're advancing your character's deck and abilities. So all these things are going to be happening as the story unfolds. It's well done. I'm very excited to continue the journey. I think it's a nice game, and I think it will do really well. Plan B Games has Equinox, the Golem edition, coming out. I played Equinox on stream, and I guess they're doing a new edition with different art. I don't necessarily think it's needed, but I guess they did really well with their Century and then Century Golem editions. Century Spice and Century Golem edition. Maybe they're trying to do that again with this Equinox game. The Equinox game is very much take that. So be prepared. I actually think this one was on Board Game Arena. Did I see it there? Does anybody know? I think it was there. So I would... Well, I could be misremembering, but I thought I saw it on Board Game Arena. I didn't actually play it on there, but and this is going to be exactly the same thing as Equinox, except just with different art. So for me, the game is okay. I would play it again, but I'm not like itching to play it, get to the table. But I wouldn't mind playing it again. Portal Games has Gutenberg. I played it. Really enjoyed it. Man, it's ugly. It's so ugly. It's that the ugliness is not doing the game any favors. It's all very tan. People might like the look of it. I think it's not great. It's not... The thing I can't give props to is that it's super legible. Yes. I know what's going on across the board. I can see all the symbols and I understand them. At least for me. But everything is very beige. Nothing really colorful going on. But it's a neat like action game where you're taking the cubes that you have and using them to bid on different actions, and then everybody reveals what they've bid on, and then whoever has the most for a certain action can pick first. So if you really want something, you're going to have to put more cubes there, but then you'll have less actions further as you get into the round, that kind of thing. And so if you want to take every action, well, you have to allocate at least one cube everywhere, but then you might be left with like last pick on everything because you use so few cubes. So it's one of those management systems to use cubes to get what you want. That mechanic is super clever. Everything else about the game has kind of been there, done that, but I do really appreciate that action, the action auction thing that they have to take these different actions. And so that is really clever. It's like collect the inks, and then you're trying to make the different like manuscripts or something. It's like a printing press thing. So I was impressed. It is a game that I would really like to play again. So hopefully I can pick up a copy when I'm at GenCon. We got Pretzel Games. They came out with Yak recently, or coming out with Yak. I got an early release, it seems like, and I played it on stream. Super cute yaks. If you want it, you better put a cube on it. Exactly. A super cute yaks where you are trying to gain these cubes, these little like blocks, in order to build your little pyramid. And the way that the pyramid is built is that you're going to want to connect the same colors to get more points, but you're going to want different groups of colors to get more points. So you're trying to do all these different things, managing your resources to collect these blocks. And these little yaks are walking around in a circle, and they might turn around and go the other way. So you have to be prepared for that. But it is a light game. It falls really well with the pretzel line because everything is very tactile and big and it's fun. It's definitely made for the family, just like Flick 'em Up and everything. So it kind of gives you that like family vibe. Beautiful art. It's a stunning game. So yeah, I like that. All right, then we got Queen Games. We got Old London Bridge. I've played this a few times on TTS and in person. This is where you are building your bridge, and each turn you can basically build one segment. You might skip a turn for a reason, like if you have no money or whatever, but you're selecting a spot in the middle when it's your turn to grab one of the tiles, and you're making your bridge pattern, and the number on the tile has to be lower than the previous number. And if you collect a park, that will restart the line for you. So that if you get low enough, you're like, okay, I really need a park, then you place a park, and then you can start at any number and work your way down again. So you're trying to build up your bridge the best that you can, and at the meantime take the different actions of these different tiles that you're taking. So if you take like the rainbow one, it can be any one symbol, but when you evaluate a symbol going forward, it counts as any one of those symbols. So if you look at the green symbol, you're going to count the rainbow one as a green. So you'll have like 2 greens, and then you could take the green action as like a double green action. I don't know. So you're trying to manipulate your bridge to have the symbols you want to perform the different actions you want. Like I think yellow is you can gain money. So having a lot of yellow symbols, whenever you take the yellow action, you add up how many yellows you get, and you'll get money for it. And money is straight up victory points. So obviously that seems great. It's a light and fun game. It's kind of like, in a way, Zen Garden Lathe. I love Zen Garden. You're placing your tiles, and it kind of gives me that same like heft, like amount of thinking that you're doing, amount of time spent playing the game. So I think it falls right in line with Queen Games. I think they did a great job. So it's fun. We have R&R Games. They have Ferret Out, and ferrets have gathered, but a weasel is lurking about. I mean, this is a party game where there's been so many games like it recently. So it's like, what is that one? Sacred Rights. It's like Sacred Rights or Spyfall type of thing, where one person doesn't know the right answer and everybody else knows the answer, and they're trying to figure out who doesn't know, that kind of thing. So I feel like it's been done, but we had fun playing. It was fine. Renegade's putting out a second edition of Crusaders Thy Will Be Done, and I thought that was a pretty solid Euro game. I had some problems with it. I've played it several times, though. Whether or not it needed a reprinting, I'm not sure. But, there's a bunch of expansions that are coming out, too, so maybe that changes up the gameplay. Maybe I should give it another go. It's a game I would play again, no problem. But I feel at this point that I've seen what it has to offer. Resin Phantom Inc. we played a few times at Gathering. It's a weird game. It's a it's a weird game. It's a weird word game where there are basically two teams and there's a word that they know and they have to try and get the teammates to say the word or write out the word. So if your word is dog, but if the word is dog and you're trying to, so you're trying to, like, the team doesn't know what the word is, but we're trying to ask questions to figure out what that is. And we ask a question and they would say the answer or something. I think they write down the letter. They start writing the letter of the word to the answer. So the question might be like, does it taste good? Or what does it taste like or something? And it might not be anything. It might be like the Lincoln Memorial or something. So, not good is the answer or whatever. And so you're like, I don't know what the answer could be, but the other team doesn't even know what the question was that we asked. So it's like one of those little mind games. And oh man, it was tough. We didn't play very well. My team didn't play very well, but the other teams played pretty well. It was interesting. I'd play it again, give it another shot. If you like party games. Rio Grande has all these second editions of Dominion coming out. Obviously, Dominion is amazing. I don't know if anything has actually changed. It says more new cards in a revised expansion for Dominion, but I don't know if that just means like the description for Hinterlands because it's more cards. I don't know if they're actually changing anything with these editions, so not sure. Oh, but we also have Space Station Phoenix, which is amazing. So yeah, it's awesome. It's not really worker placement. It's like action selection, but you can like dismantle your actions so you have fewer and fewer actions as the game goes on. It's like super challenging to make it all work, but you have to be on your toes because you want to prevent other people from doing what they want to do at opportune times. So it's a very clever game with a lot of different mixture for setup and replay. So you're going to always have a different experience, which is great. Definitely one of the best games I've played this year. And I would definitely recommend checking that out. Studio H, Suspects. I actually haven't played it yet, but it's on my couch. Therefore, it will get played in the near future, hopefully. And we get that played before GenCon, and then I could talk about it more on the stream. Or if we play it on stream, I'm not really sure what we're going to do with that. But it seems to be a cooperative deduction game based on what it says. So I'm very excited. Ah, yes, the couch shelf. Yeah, so I was expecting to play it by now, but it hasn't happened yet. Soon. Synapsis Games, they have a game called Beta, which is the little fish, the beta fish. It is on Board Game Arena, and the game is simple. I didn't really find any meaningful decisions in it. Maybe it works well online because you just kind of play in like 5 minutes and then it's over. But for me, it didn't really hit the mark. So for me, it's not a game I really need to play again. I like the idea of the beta fish, though. Twin City Games, Animals in Espionage. Is it in beta? No, I don't think so anymore. Espionage. Animals in Espionage. One of the best 2-player games I've learned last year. Made my top 25 list and might have even made my top 10 list. I really, really like this game. So, 2-player, quick, like deduction game almost. You're trying to bluff your way out of a situation, but you're also trying to deduce what the other player's characters are. It's clever. there's a lot of great decision. I love I cut you choose mechanics, so for me it worked really well. If you play 2 players, I highly recommend it. This one needs more thumbs, so if you've played it and like it, go give it a thumb because it deserves it. Big fan. Oh, hey, thanks for following. Yay! Can't really read it from here, but I appreciate the follow. Next on the list is Van Ryder Games. Oh, they got like a bunch. Okay, they got 3 things. We got Final Girl, Keepers, and Sherlock Holmes. So the Sherlock Holmes, I'm actually not sure I played that one, but what it's getting at is their graphic novel series that they have. They are super clever adventure games that you read a panel and then it tells you to go to page 54, and then you go to page 54 and you read it and you're like, okay, and then you go to the next page and you're trying to like solve the case by flipping through the book and figuring out the right path. And of course there's many red herrings and dead ends in the books, and so they have these series of books, and I've had a lot of fun going through them and really enjoyed that series. So I definitely recommend these graphic novels that they have in their collection. So if you're looking for something different, it is definitely different. You can work on it as a cooperative puzzle, but you can also just do it in your downtime. Just like flip through the books and figure out, take your notes if you want, leave a bookmark kind of thing for later. It's like super relaxing and fun to solve these books. So Final Girl, excellent game. I learned that this year. Really, really like it. It is a push your luck dice game, and I am terrible at this game. I was amazed to have AJ come on the stream, and we played the new edition, and we kicked butt. I mean, we kicked butt. But the game I had played previous to that was a total failure. I lost on like round 2. Like I was like dead. I was like super dead. And then he came on and he's like a lucky charm, and we just like took care of it, no problem. And then he leaves. We play, Michael and I play on stream the next game, and we're like totally dead. Like totally dead. So I guess we just needed AJ to sit here and play with us because he was lucky. So while Final Girl is a solo game, you can obviously play it with more people and make decisions together as a cooperative game. And so what it is you're the final girl, and all the bad guys are coming after you, and the different scenarios are gonna like come in on you, and you're just trying to escape. You're just trying to figure out how to save people and get out alive. And you do that by grabbing cards, rolling dice, getting different abilities. It's very clever. It's super thematic. So if you like theme, you'll totally appreciate all the different themes of Final Girl. Keepers is a party game. It feels much like other types of party games, but this one is actually using real photography, which I can totally appreciate. I really like that they use real photography. Now, when I played it in prototype form, I did recommend that they have more than just nature themes, because nature themes all kind of convey a similar feeling or idea. So when you're trying to get people to think colorful, you can put down a fall landscape, but you can also put down like a child's birthday party. But no, they're just keeping it to the nature theme. I would like a more diverse photographic binder of images versus just nature. And you're trying to convey different ideas with the cards that you're given, and people are trying to play towards either giving a totally opposite idea of what it might be. So maybe black and white would be opposite of colorful, or you're trying to get a very colorful image for it colorful, and over and over and over. Michael says, yeah, it was all the same note over and over and over and over and over. And I think that's the biggest fault of this game, is just having the one theme. It really would benefit from just a wide, diverse book of whatever images. Inside different places, inside restaurants, different food items, children's birthday parties, you know, all these different things that will convey different feelings and meaning. A graveyard, you know, like you might not see that in nature, like you will, but it might not be presented in this game. Like things that will give you a different feeling. So that was just my main concern with Keepers, is that it doesn't have all of that, the extra, you know, emotion. And Michael's like, and I can choose grass or grass or grass or mountain or grass or critter or grass. Peaceful, 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 scary. Because it's a spider. Yeah. So I liked what the game was doing. But like I said, it just needs a little bit more variety. Moving along. We got to Whiz Kids. We have, they're the end of the list. We made it, guys. Whiz Kids Marvel Remix. I don't think I talk about this game enough. Actually, I probably do. I talk about it all the time. I bring it everywhere I go. I really love introducing this game to everybody because it is great. I love Fantasy Realms. I will always play Fantasy Realms. I love Marvel Remix. I will always play Marvel Remix. It's very much the same game, except Marvel Remix takes icons and uses icons right on the side of the card, so you can see what icons you have. And a lot of cards will play off of these different icons. Normally it's like a set collection, like it will gain 3 points for each one of these icons you have. So maybe you want to collect more of these. The main difference between this and Fantasy Realms is that you need to have a hero or an ally, and you need to have a villain in your that will score. So you can't have a blanked villain, because a blanked card in Fantasy Realms and in Marvel Remix is that there's basically nothing there. It's a white piece of paper. So you're gonna need to make sure you're scoring a villain and make sure you're scoring a hero, and then you can win the game. You know, then you can score your cards, and you score each card individually depending on the other cards you have in your hand, and you figure out if you have the best hand. And it works very much the same way as Fantasy Realms, where the game will end at 10 cards on the tables in the discard pile. So it's very simple. It's very accessible, easy to teach, easy to play. Perfect family game, perfect travel game. It's all around been a really big hit for me this year. So I can't recommend it enough. Tafoob says, loved Marvel Remix. The art reminded me of old school Marvel. Yeah, I mean, it is the comic artwork, so that makes sense. And then the last game on the list is Yosemite, which is a 2-player game. We played this on stream as well, and it's a nice little tile collection game where you go around collecting tiles, moving in weird patterns according to whatever type of animal you're currently standing on. You'll move in that direction. And so you're collecting these different animal tiles and gaining additional abilities and taking photographs of these animals for sets. And click, you get the card, and it will be worth some number of points. And yeah, it's a nice little 2-player relaxing type of game. It comes in that standard 2-player size box, like Agricola Big and Small, you know, and like all the Cosmos series, like Aqualin and Emotep the Duel. Seastead is another WizKids game that came in the same size. So it fits perfectly with all those 2-player games that you have just like that, and it will look beautiful. It has great art, so anyway, I'm kind of surprised I could talk that long about like 80 games or whatever. So sorry that ran on like super long, but I figured I'd give my opinion on what I've played, and so now everybody knows exactly about these games. And you know, if you had more interest in learning about more of them, more in depth, I've played a lot of them on the stream already, so you can check out those videos if I said I had a video for them. And yeah, these That's quite a few games that I've already played that are coming out of Gen Con. So I'm either excited to hopefully pick it up if I don't have a copy, or, you know, I already have it, so I don't need it. But definitely a lot of good titles on this list to seek out and buy, like Carnegie if you don't have it, and learn more about that. Terracotta Army will be at the Board and Dice booth, so come say hi. Marvel Remix, such a great game. I know it's gonna like be like sell like hotcakes for them, so make sure you pick that up early if you're going to Gen Con. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great games, so I'm glad I could help, you know, talk it out with some people, talk it out with you guys to tell you my knowledge of these games, and hopefully help you out with your list as you proceed with the Gen Con list. So I appreciate it, and I will be back with another episode because I'm going to talk about the games I actually want at Gen Con, and that will be my next video. the games I actually want to play. So thanks for sticking around and watching, or maybe watching on 1.5 speed because this was a long video, but I'll be right back.